Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to have you joining us today. We are going to be leaning into the conversation about stepping into center stage, really stepping into our voice, our dreams, our purpose. And that is only possible to fully do that by fully stepping into the center stage of our life, bringing all of who we are forward. I feel like sometimes we're treating life a bit like a dress rehearsal. That next time I'll fully show up. Next time I'll do this. Or someday. We'll use that phrase a lot. Someday. And I want you to know today is the day. This is the stage. This is the time that you are being called to step forward and shine and to share your gifts, to share all of who you are powerfully with the world. And so I'm very excited to have you joining in today. We have two amazing experts that are going to lean into this conversation, providing powerful wisdom, tips, and insight to support us in how do we do that? How do we fully step forward, fully step into our purpose, bring all of who we are, and step into our dreams all at the same time. So it's going to be a beautiful, exciting conversation. I want to welcome each and every one of you. But in order to get the most out of our time together, it is really important that you become fully present. So let's take a breath together. Wonderful, wonderful. Great. Those of you who are driving, I want to encourage you to keep both hands on the wheel. No texting and driving. You are absolutely safe, just inwardly tuning in. Those of you who are able to, though, I want to invite you to put both feet on the floor. Feel it supporting you. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head. Close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Let's take a deep breath in through our nose. Out through our mouth like through a straw. Wonderful. Keep breathing this way. What happens as you're enjoying this breath is, one, we bring oxygen to our entire body, which means we have clearer thinking and we're ready to receive more. Two, it helps bring us very present while lowering our stress levels, lowering our cortisol levels. The simple process of becoming present and breathing. Wonderful. So as we connect in and your eyes are closed here just for a moment, I want you to think about what is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage you, empower you, help you perhaps step a little bit more into center stage? Share just a little bit more of who you are with the world. What is it that you need and are willing to receive? I want you to feel into that. Wonderful. So receive that information. Come back into the room, fully present. Take another breath. Wonderful. And take a moment to write it down, what it is that you need and are willing to receive, because you have choice. You have choice on what you are willing to receive and accept into your life. So write it down. Let's keep it top of mind. It's so easy to get distracted, forget what it is we need, and in fact miss it sometimes because we expect it to show up in a certain way versus being open to how creatively that need and unexpectedly that need can be met. So be open. Let's write that down so we can keep it top of mind as we go through our time together and as you go back out into the world. But let's take a look at what you wrote down. What it is that you need, that you are willing to receive real time today, that ties into taking center stage of your life, of being fully present and ready and willing to be seen, to be heard, and to share your gifts. One of the conversations that's been coming up quite a bit lately are people are looking to make a positive impact. There are some things sometimes that are going on in our lives or in our communities that are unsettling or can feel heavy and difficult and hard. And when that happens, it can increase our desire to make a positive impact, to make a change. And part of doing that is being willing to lead it, be willing to be part of that change, being willing to be visible. I think sometimes, and I did this for so many years, I had a big heart to serve. I wanted to share. I wanted to make a positive difference. But I was uncomfortable with the visibility that can be associated with that. It was like I wanted the transformation. I wanted people just to know somehow what I had to share. They just somehow could pick up on it and know, or they would discover me and come to me. I didn't have to be part of that equation. So it was like I wanted the positive impact. I wanted the change without the vulnerability. And what I've learned is that we have to be willing to step into center stage. We have to be willing to be seen, to be visible, be that light on the same level that we're wanting to make a difference, that we're wanting to touch people's lives. That doesn't necessarily happen by osmosis. We have to be willing to be visible, to reach out, to create that bridge, to make that positive difference. So I want to encourage you as we go through our conversation today, as we go through our time of connection, to be listening in. Sometimes you'll have things spoken into your heart and spirit. Sometimes it'll be things that we're sharing that can encourage you and can empower you on your journey. So listen in for those things that will help you be more visible, help you step into center stage of your life, be seen on a higher level, and bring forward the impact that you're wanting to see in the world, that positive impact, that positive shift, that positive change. Be willing to lead that instead of staying on the sidelines. So listen for ways and opportunities that you can do that will be spoken into your heart and spirit, because I can tell you it is not an accident that you tuned in today. That means there is something here for you, and I want you ready and willing to receive everything that can be supportive to you and all that you are looking to do in the world. So let's go back and look at what we put on our paper, what it is that we need and are willing to receive. And as we've shared and talked, what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. We're going to go around our virtual room here, connecting heart to heart with our experts today. And let's see if there's an echoing of what was placed on your heart in theirs, or maybe something additional will be added in. So I'd love to start with Dr. Miluna. Did you have something laid on your heart when we stopped and paused and listened?
I feel the greater connection of all of us, that all of us raising our voices, speaking up, speaking out, is part of a greater collective for good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So each voice adding to, I'll call it this song, right? The song of humanity, to uplift everyone, every living thing on the planet.
I love that, the song of humanity. How beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Love it, love it. How about you, Mary? What was laid on your heart?
For me, Rebecca, it was a validation for something that keeps coming up for me, which is it's time to lead a first-class life. So whatever that means for each person, that just time to have a first-class existence, a first-rate life, have making choices that put yourself first, and trusting that when you put yourself first, you can take care of others with, kind of like having your cup full instead of your cup empty.
I love that. And I love that concept of a first-class life and setting ourselves up, making choices to lean into that. And then from that place of fullness, being able to reach out and serve. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you. Listeners, how about you? What was laid on your heart? What is being spoken into your spirit? What are you wanting to add to the song of humanity? What does it mean to have and lead a first-class life? As we get ready to go to our first commercial break here, I want to encourage you to stay present. As those commercials play in the background, I want you to listen to your heart and spirit. Give yourself the opportunity to use these 2 minutes to receive what is being spoken into your heart and spirit. Just stop, pause, breathe, receive, and integrate. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation and sharing and pouring into you. We look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Voice America Women. Your passion starts here.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Tune in to Patricia Raskin Positive Living on VoiceAmerica.com every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 11 a.m. Pacific Time. This program brings you practical and inspiring principles for living a more authentic, engaging, and passionate life. Patricia's guests will give you a formula for connecting, giving, forgiving, and miraculous living. So tune in and call in to Patricia Raskin Positive Living Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 11 a.m. Pacific Time right here on the Voice America Variety Channel. It's practical, positive solutions for a happy, empowered, and successful life.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit Facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself the opportunity to really pause and listen and be present. It is so easy to jump in from one thing to another to get all those things on our to-do list. We can sometimes forget to stop, pause, listen, and integrate. And then from that space, make choices and move forward. So I'm going to encourage you throughout the show to take those opportunities to stop, pause, and listen and see what's being spoken on your heart and spirit. Oh, Welcome back. This powerful segment, which I'm very excited to share, is being brought to you by Dr. Ruth Anderson. She is launching her amazing book today, Walking with Spirit, Divine Illuminations in Life, Death, and Beyond. It's available on Amazon right now for a super special rate for the next 24 to 72 hours of $1. So I want everyone to lean in that is looking for answers on life, death, and beyond. And Dr. Ruth Anderson, we're excited about your book, and we thank you for being a powerful supporter of our show. And Mary Shores is a powerful expert. I have known Mary now, I think, Mary, we've known each other for 1.5 to 2 years now. I'm trying to think of exactly how long we've had the opportunity to connect. But I've so enjoyed getting to know you and how you show up in the world and your commitment to really helping people step into all of who they are and how to work with what science is showing in really powerful ways. So Mary Shores is an author, speaker, entrepreneur, and CEO. She's internationally known as an amazing author of conscious communications, and she is absolutely passionate about helping you to fearlessly create the reality you desire. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Mary Shores to the show. Welcome.
Hi, Rebecca. It's so great to talk to you again today.
Hi, Mary. I am so excited to have you joining us again. I know you have amazing content and information to share with us, and I would love to start with why. Why is this work of helping people in this way really create the realities they desire? Why is that personally so important to you?
Well, because the more that I learn about empowerment especially, the more that I understand empowerment is a state of mind and that it's not impossible to obtain it. It's not realistic to stay there all the time. But sharing that message that everything we do from a place of empowerment, everything we create, everything we manifest from that state of being is going to show up stronger, faster, better. It's going to be longer lasting, and most importantly, it's going to have a greater impact. And so it's that impact that I'm wanting to make. So this is my way that I'm impacting my world and the world, and I want that for everyone, and they can understand it just in simple concepts to make a shift with just something very simple.
I love that you're emphasizing that it can be simple. These shifts can be simple, because I don't know anyone out there, as I talk to people, that want something like harder and heavier to do on the to-do list. So I find that just how you're even approaching supporting people in this way as empowering, that you're able to break it down into simple steps that they can take, and you're so in alignment and walking your talk and sharing it out in the world. And I appreciate that about you and how you touch people's lives. And I like this phrase, this state of mind that we can be in a way of living. As you talked about in the opening segment, to me, this ties into that leading a first-class life, that you're helping them do that. Really, really powerful. Now, can you share a little bit how our listeners, as we've been talking about taking center stage of our life, how can they step forward in their life and fully shine, fully show up?
Well, during your opening segment, I said about having a first-class life. Mm-hmm. And I think that after many, many years of trauma, I'm 44 years old, and a significant part of my journey has been really trauma-filled. And the thing is that our bodies are like these libraries, and they store everything and anything that's ever happened to us. And it affects us on a cellular level, but it also affects our subconscious and the choices that we make. And so the older that I get, the more that I realize that the best way to shine is to heal. Because we can always work on clearing out these things that have happened in our past, and our past doesn't have to become our futures. And so for me, part of my story is just stepping from that place of disempowerment to that state of being of empowerment. And even just understanding how well I feel is going to help me create the life that I want.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I like how you're talking and sharing about healing, because as you shared in your opening conversations about leading a first-class life and really making choices to empower you to do that, that so much of this empowerment work and fully showing up involves healing. And so I'm curious if there are some daily practices that we can bring into our life, to help us step into our power, maybe help us on that healing journey, help us on connecting in so that we can really share out.
Yeah, I'm really big on daily practices, and so right now, and this year, I've been doing a daily practice of the Daily Desires Diary, which is actually a free download for your listeners if they want to find that link. So it's basically just 3 things every day that you're grateful for, and of course, I could go on and on about the power of gratitude, but I'm going to assume your listeners are savvy and they've already heard it. And then the second part of the diary is 3 moments of the day that you're proud of. Because women, we don't take the time to celebrate our small wins and our big wins, but scientific neurology research is showing us that by reminiscing on the small wins and the big wins, it actually strengthens the strategic thinking centers of your brain. So it's very important that we take a moment every day to appreciate even the smallest of wins. And then finally, I'm going to suggest that you have, as part of this Daily Desire Diary, that you have 3 things every day that you just make a note of that you desire. So whether that's, putting yourself first, or an ice cream cone, or a trip around the world, just 3 things you desire.
Beautiful. Listeners, I want to make sure all of you got that down, some of this practice you can build into your life of having this daily, and say it one more time, you called it a Daily
Desires Diary.
Daily Desires Diary. Beautiful. One of the things we love to do is build our toolboxes of practices and ways that we can be in our life so that we can live on purpose and with purpose. So I want to encourage all of our listeners to build this in, add that into your toolbox, making sure that you are listing 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things that you're proud of. I really like that you added that in, Mary, because you're right. We'll kind of just move on and we forget to do that and stop and celebrate those moments and appreciate them. And I love that it's helpful to the wiring even in our brain. So really, really powerful. And then 3 things that we desire. So I'm going to encourage everyone to add that into your toolbox. And I was just curious if there's anything else you would add on to that particular practice as they're building their toolbox that could support them.
Anything I would add on to it?
Yeah.
I would add to do it for a minimum of 45 days.
Beautiful.
Because I think that whenever we start a daily practice, a lot of times we expect an immediate result, and when we don't see something change right away, we can give up. So I think if you give it a full 45 days, what's going to happen is you start to plant some new seeds in the subconscious mind, which allow things over time to make some small pivots. And so if you give it 45 days, the things that I want you to be on the lookout for are increased synchronicities, people coming into your world that you just feel wouldn't have been there before or weren't there before. And I think it's important to pay attention for opportunities.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. I think that's really, really valuable for us to remember to give it time to build that practice, 45 days, to allow those seeds to plant and grow, and then to be observing, watching for the synchronicities, watching for the growth. Really powerful. Thank you. Now, I also know that you sometimes share that you've gone from a dropout to a dreamer, and I would love for you to share a little bit about that, because we're talking about stepping into our dreams, too.
Sure. So I started my business at a really young age. I was only 24 years old when I opened the doors of my first business. And I think that one of the things that I really like to share with people is that I really came from nowhere. I mean, when I say dropout, it's because I didn't ever finish my degree. So I was out on my own at 16 years old. I did manage to graduate high school, but after that I had a daughter who tragically passed away. And it seems like I was able to build a character that allowed me some resiliency that pushed me into starting that business. And the reason I call it Dropout to Dreamer is because I think that, for all intents and purposes, I could have easily become that statistic. I could have easily just gone down a much different path in life and could have fell victim to addictions and all kinds of things that would have led me in a very different direction. And so I just love to share that if your past is not the greatest, or you don't have that degree, those things don't have to hold you back. You can actually use them as a catalyst to springboard yourself further than you ever thought possible. And that's the dreamers, because I'm always catapulting myself even bigger than what I could have dreamed for myself. I mean, when I was a young girl, Rebecca, there's no way I would have ever imagined that I could have become a best-selling author.
Beautiful. Well, I love that. And to me, this journal that you've described is a way for them to help step into that dreamer place of themselves as well, and to take it step by step. And your story, from what you've shared, is you have really made choices to not be that statistic, but to move forward beyond even some of the dreams you could have imagined, which I think is really, really powerful and gives us that hope. It gives us that encouragement that we can step forward. We can really build a life that we love, a life that we desire. But it also sounds like there are some great choices that have gone into that, and a resilience, you mentioned, and determination to keep moving forward. So kind of tying into that, is there a way that our listeners could maybe learn from some of what you've been able to do, perhaps focus in on their dreams in a way they can start stepping towards them?
I think here's a great way you can do this. Is if you're checking into yourself, ask yourself today, in this moment, right now, how well do I feel from a scale of 1 to 20? And whatever your answer is, ask yourself, does this number reflect my world? So, for example, I asked myself this question a few weeks ago, and I said I was a 7. Now, 7 from 0 to 20 is not very high. And so my world really reflected that. Like, I had some chaos going on, and things were really stressful. And so my inner world was reflecting my outer world. And so what I want you to focus on is when you're in those moments of more despair, when you're on that lower end of the 10 out of up to 20, you really want to focus on changing your state of being from disempowerment to empowerment. And the way that you do that is through self-care. And I don't mean self-care as some complicated, expensive thing, but self-care by way of just taking space for yourself. Just closing your circle in a little bit until you feel that number go from a 7 up to past 10, 13, 15, 17. And then when you are at that 17, that's the time to take massive action and step forward and shine.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for walking us through that process and giving us a way to kind of use that, a way to know when to close our circle and step back and kind of spend some time nourishing ourselves, nurturing ourselves so that we can bring it above that 10 mark. And then we're able to step out, take massive action, and shine powerfully. Really powerful. Thank you so much, Mary. I really appreciate your sharing.
My pleasure.
Well, listeners, I am sure you have enjoyed so much of what Mary has shared with you as well. And I want to encourage you as we go to our next commercial break to use these 2 minutes to write down a couple thoughts, a couple notes that you're going to give yourself the opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, receive, integrate, and maybe check in. Where are you right now on that scale of 1 to 20? And what is it that you need to help shift if there happens to be a lower number so that it becomes a higher number? Or if you're in the higher numbers, how are you going to step forward and shine, share out, take that massive action? We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
This is the Voice America Women's Channel, where your success is limitless.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Relationship issues? Anxious? Parenting challenges? No more. Learn to live your best life. Tune into Straight Talk with top therapist, relationship, and anxiety expert Sandra Reish. Learn to transform your challenges into effective solutions. Whether it's relationships, parenting, anxiety, or other traps, Sandra will show you how you can live the life of your dreams. Listen live every Thursday afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog, Press Pass? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective. Plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at vapresspass.com. That's vapresspass.com. VA Press Pass by Voice America. All access, all the time.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation. Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself the opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, and check in. See where you are on that scale of 1 to 20 and where shifting may need to be, or perhaps shining needs to take place and step forward. So wonderful check-in process. I want to give a great thank you to our amazing Dr. Ruth Anderson sponsoring our show today. We're very grateful and excited about your amazing book, Walking with Spirit, that is launching today on Amazon. So I encourage anyone who is looking for direction and information in the spiritual realms. Her book is truly powerful and on special for $1 for the next 24 to 72 hours. So Dr. Ruth Anderson, congratulations on your book launch, and we are excited to have you as our amazing sponsor today. And continuing our conversation, Dr. Miluna has a PhD in holistic psychology, a BS in the music business, and she has a very extended background in show business, sales, and in the corporate arena. She has a training and coaching company called Pitch Perfect Presentations, and she is absolutely passionate about helping you bring that rock star magic to your presentations so you can increase your connection, communication, and influence. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Dr. Miluna Fausch to the show. Welcome!
Thank you, Rebecca.
I want you to have that rock star experience. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Red carpet.
Exactly. A little bit of shine. I love it. I would love to start our conversation with why. Why is this work of helping people in this way? Why is that personally so important to you?
For me, the voice has always been a capital V. And I think it's because for many reasons, but when I was a child, I was told to be seen and not heard. And I bet a lot of the listeners can resonate with that. I simply was not allowed or encouraged to make noise, to use my voice, which I had a voice. And so I turned down and I became very small. And so fast forward to today, what we know is that when we don't speak up as thought leaders, as industry leaders, what I would call the rock star, we're not fully participating. We're not fully expressing. We're not, as you said, showing up at 100% or more.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think the world misses out when we don't. And yet many of us forget that, or we've tuned it down, as you shared, and now are just discovering we can turn the volume up. We can share out. We can bring ourselves forward. And I'd love to just understand, when you started doing that for yourself and then you experience helping others do that, what are some of your favorite experiences, or how has that been for you as you have stepped into that and discovered how to turn your volume up, how to show up, and now you help others? I'd love to know.
Yes, it's fun to be loud. So, it's not always about being soft, and we don't have enough female role models, especially, of what that is to be bold and compassionate and intelligent and thoughtful and all of these things at the same time. So I think we need to discover our own voice and be our own role model. And in my own world, you can imagine this has caused so much healing, and my journey continues. I continue to do this every day for my own voice and what I want to speak and create. And when I work with clients, to watch them go from kind of hiding on that stage to fully delivering that presentation or making that speech or pitching for funds, it's as if the light turns up. I can almost literally see how much better they feel once they conquer the nerves and those words flow authentically. It's so powerful and it's so magic at the same time.
Beautiful. Thank you. I can hear how meaningful that is to you in your voice. And I love that we can have fun being loud and being bold and embodying all of those wonderful qualities that we don't need to strip out some of them from our life. I love that. And kind of speaking of that, turning the light on, that their light gets turned on, they get to step into that space. I know that one of the number one fears out there, even sometimes ranked higher than dying, is that fear of speaking. Do you mind sharing a little bit of what you've observed around why that is and how this might be holding us back a bit?
It's kind of astonishing, isn't it, that that's still a number one fear? I think there's a number of reasons. Using more of my psychology degree, most of us want to look really good up there on whatever stage we're on. Most of us want to be seen as intelligent. And so our little ego gets a little too much activated, perhaps. Some of us are people pleasers, so we don't want to say anything controversial. Oh, my gosh, that person might not like me. So it becomes more about us, because we do care so much, when what we really want and need to be doing is speaking our message, which is our branding and our truth. So what I help folks do is we stay in the breath a lot. We do posture and physical things do our best to turn down that ego and remember that it's really not so much about us, but we are this channel. And the clearer and more bold that we are when we're channeling, everyone wins. The benefit is now out there. It's been spoken aloud.
Well, beautiful. And the way you're sharing this, I'm just envisioning when we can release that a little bit, that worry about doing it right or being seen a certain way, it makes room for the message. and it takes some of the pressure off, that we can really allow it to come through, and we become the vessel for delivering the message. And we can step aside, in a sense, a little bit of worrying so much about having it come across a certain way or being seen a certain way. And it's more about what we're bringing forward, what we're called to share. Is there anything else you would add on to that?
Well said, Rebecca. It is, because the more we can open the heart and the vulnerability, the more people will connect. And the best thing, as you know, when you're on a stage of any sort or a phone call, it can be anything, when you feel that connection and when we allow ourselves to be open-hearted and tapped into our emotions, when I feel it, guess what? It's as simple as that. You feel what I feel. So if we get out of the need to be perfect, because we already are, and show all of ourselves, which is, of course, the intelligence of the brain, but even more important, the intelligence of the heart. And that's when our message really is heard and received in the way that we want it to be.
Beautiful. I love that, really opening the heart and connecting with it. Something that really impacted me powerfully on my journey as a speaker, because I used to spend so much time trying to look a certain way and make sure I said exactly the right things, that they only remembered maybe 10% of what I said. But what they remembered, 80% of, is how they felt, how they experienced. And that gave me freedom to not worry as much about all the words as really being available and open. And I love how you're sharing that we can have this connection with our heart and let that message come through, and that it's okay to feel on stage, and it's okay to feel in our interactions, and to let others connect in that heart place and channel with us too. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. So we do always like to make sure that we're touching on things that can really empower our females, our women in our audience and our listeners. And I'd like to just say, are there some things that you've noticed, particularly with women, that holds them back a little bit? Some reasons why perhaps they don't share, they don't stand in center stage?
Absolutely. I think women are less likely to be confident than men. It's a little bit of a stereotype, but I do find it to be true. My women executives are not as confident. And these are highly educated women. These are highly intelligent. But they're afraid to share their opinions. They're so tied up in being politically correct that they're actually shutting down, I find, too much. Because when we're monitoring or being aware or judging every word we say, we can't possibly be in a true zone. We can't really be in our confident, brilliant zone because we're so busy being critical. So women, I find, underestimate their ability. And if we can trust ourselves more, not be so concerned about judging or being critical, but understanding that the power of our opinion and our voice and our perspective is the one thing that might change everything. Our business, our company, the world.
Beautiful. And I find that as well, that we can frequently underestimate our abilities and how important our voice, our message matters, how much it does. So I want to encourage all of our listeners today to be willing to share their voice, to share their thoughts, bring their perspective to the table. Let others see and hear all that you have to share and say. You're absolutely needed. And speaking of sharing, I know one of the ways that we share out is through our voice. We've been talking about the heart as well, but as we focus in on the V, voice, because I know that's one of your main areas of focus, how can we change our voice or bring our voice to be a little bit more of a rock star in our life?
Yes. I think it helps to begin with the physical, because once we're grounded in the body, then we can get into more of the belief systems and the emotions and reasons why we're holding back. If we will tap into the voice, what I would call the deep belly, the lower belly, and imagine that the voice is multidimensional. So it has height, and it has width, and it has depth, and it has capacity. And I want to encourage our listeners to think of their voice as directional. So it's always coming up and out instead of what I hear a lot is down and back. So think of the voice as up and out, up and out, up and out. And the breath, right, our very air is what starts that sound. So once we can align that and open and be free, all the things that I might say, and just imagine and visualize and practice going to the far wall or somewhere far away where that voice can go up and out and touch and inspire and engage whoever we're addressing, including ourselves.
Thank you for sharing. I love the feel and the energy of that up and out and sharing. And it's a very positive, uplifting feeling to it that we're lifting ourselves up, we're lifting our voice up, we're lifting our message up and sharing it out. What a powerful way to shine out in the world. Thank you so much for sharing.
You are welcome.
Listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break here, how are you lifting your message, lifting your voice up and out and sharing that out into the world? Willing to perhaps not worry so much about being seen a certain way, but more concerned about opening yourself up to share the message you've been given to share, to bring your voice to the table, to lift what matters to you up and out into the world. We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
If you've always wanted to take the lead in your life, but you don't believe you are a leader, then it's time to change that mindset. Leadership expert Linda Patton will help you discover the powerful leader that lives within and teach you the leadership skills that will transform your business and your life. Stepping into your leadership brings reality to your vision, and leadership can be learned. Find out more on Leadership Stars every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Women's Channel.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself the opportunity to think about what are you sharing out? What are you willing to bring up and out and share with the world? I've so enjoyed having you tune in today and spend some time with us. And I asked our amazing experts behind the scenes if they would be willing to share just a final tip or a thought or a reminder with you as you get ready to go back out into the world. And they generously both leaned in and said yes. So Dr. Miluna, I would love to have your thought that you wanted to share with our listeners.
Life's a pitch. So the clear, great to remember, life's a pitch.
I love it, yes.
We're always asking for, and so my tip and my thought is the clearer we are with our desires and our dreams and our clear ask, A-S-K, our asks, the faster we can build the life of our dreams.
Beautiful. And I love that. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Mary, what's on your heart to share?
I just want to share a final thought that everything you say, everything you do, every word that comes out of your mouth, every action you take, every choice you make in the thinnest sliced moments of life is either creating a deeper connection to what you want or driving a disconnection.
Beautiful. So really being aware of the choices that we make, because it absolutely matters. Beautiful.
I like to say often, awareness of your choices is the key to freedom.
Oh, I love that's tweetable. Awareness of your choices is the key to freedom. I love it. Thank you. Listeners, as I reflect on our show, there's so many things on my heart to share, and I just want to touch in on a couple of the things that we talked about today. In the beginning, we were talking about stepping into center stage, and we took a moment to write down what it is that you need and are willing to receive, what's really been laid on your heart, and to be open to how that may come. I encourage you to look at that again. Just check in. Has that moved a little bit? Have you gotten some of what you need? Or are you continuing to be on the lookout? Because I want you to receive everything that is here for you today. Remember to do the daily desire journal, to build that practice into your life, to be willing to build that first class life. It's choices that you're making. And that check-in, I love that Mary shared that check-in about on the scale of 1 to 20, where are we, and honoring where we are. That under 10 is a time to pull back a little bit, to lean into what it is that you need, and then so you can get to that above 10 state, that above 10 place, and then that's a great place to share and shine out. And then Dr. Miluna, I love how much you've reminded us that sharing our voice matters. And part of that is remembering it's not about being perfect. It's really about being willing, opening your heart, and being willing to lift your voice, lift your message up and out, and share that with the world. Listeners, you are absolutely needed in this world. There's no one else just like you. And I want to encourage you and remind you to be willing to bring your voice, your message, your gifts to the table. Because it isn't a dress rehearsal. This is your life. This is when and how you get to live on purpose and with great purpose. It's those choices that we make. It's being willing to step forward, being willing to shine and share your gifts out with the world. I hope that wherever you go, whatever you do this week and going forward, that you choose to be willing to bloom where you're planted, to allow yourself to grow, and to share the gift of who you are shining out in the world. I look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine